Breaking news, this is the Ask Amazon Prime, the Wheeloftime panel, and I'm about to flip the camera around so you can stop looking at my ugly mug and actually get some news about the show. So, if you don't believe it, you're a dark friend.
Yeah, but it would be fun to be but it's also like all the food is included. Partially, yeah. I mean, I've been here since yesterday, and I've been paying for everything so far. Yeah. I think they're starting to give out things this afternoon. Yeah. See that you are. I try. I'm not very good at it.
Oh, you ordered it?
Oh. It's insane.
Okay, I'll have it for next year. For what time?
These guys!
Hey, what's up?
They're my favorites! And this guy! And these guys! It's so cool! Hashtag FOMOCon is real, I'm sure. Yeah. So, we're just waiting. They're still setting up. I think they're having technical issues. Fighting with microphones and all sorts of stuff. I hope you guys can hear us through our masks. One day this will get more professional. Maybe. Maybe not. Okay. They're hooking up the TV. Why is there a TV? Rumor is there might be a special message coming. You heard it here first, folks. Well, I heard it here fourth, so it's not that first, but it could be breaking news. Last year we got a super vague announcement from Rafe about summer, which made us all start wondering like what the definition of the end of summer is. We'll see what happens this year.
You're trying to be sneaky about it?
Yeah. Trying being the operative term.
There's a dark friend in our midst.
This guy. He's the dark friend.
Ladies,
they're all dark friends but me.
Thank you. This is a microphone test.
Wow.
What? No.
Wow. The voice of the dark one, I thought I just heard it.
Yeah. The dark one. Speaking in all caps.
I would again.
What if they accidentally hit play and we see like a sneak? So how does this work? Are we asking questions and then
are they? Asked them already.
I think
okay? And this is a video of the answering of the questions.
Right.
Gotcha.
I think they pre-chose and pre-recorded.
Okay. That was so long ago.
It's like a week.
Yeah, that's so long ago.
The last 2 days of the week.
Yeah. In Twitter of time, in Jordancon time, in ADHD time.
I used to get really offended when people would shoot videos in that aspect ratio.
Yeah,
now
right.
It's kind of like the
right.
thing. The fact that you're shooting a widescreen TV.
Yeah.
Like that,
That drives me crazy too.
Hey!
But Instagram isn't smart enough to go sideways, so, you know. TikTok's like that too. I'm just waiting for technical difficulties to like spill
I think
the
I see
beans.
Yosha back there behind that door.
I think I saw a black veiled Ioman.
He's just hiding there. If you saw him, he's not an Ioma.
That's right, a really bad Aiel. So, my original idea for
I already got one. You're good.
Oh, you're in my seat. I have one down. Oh, you want to just be real rich. Natalia has him.
sorry.
This is for you. I already got one. I didn't realize I had one already.
He's all announcing, don't take the Team Sexy Lamp ribbon.
Hi. How is everybody? Good. I like to hear that. Let's see. Can someone get the lights down just a little bit for us? Make it easier to see the screen. Somewhere back there.
The mood lighting.
I live here when we could hear.
Alexa, turn off the lights. Well, look, it worked.
Okay. Ooh. All right. Okay, so as many of you hopefully are aware, Amazon gave us the opportunity to collect some fan questions last week and send them over. And so we have some of the cast and crew have answered our questions. They gave good answers. And so this is a fun little video they made for us, and it's got some fun little surprises in it. So I hope you guys enjoy.
Maybe there's a lamp here in it.
Hi everyone, as you may know already,
Wah, wah. Wah, wah. Well, at least it's not live.
Who plugged in that HDMI cable?
All right, so we're almost ready.
It was perfect.
I heard Red's
I
voice.
created something of
We
it.
touched nothing.
Get up
That
there,
was.
guys.
This is the actual video.
All right, so let's play a little game. All right.
We're waiting for it to go in the
raise your
corner,
hand
right?
if This is your first Jordancon. Wow. Okay. All right. Part of me wants to ask you, raise your hand if this is your last Jordancon. That's probably not a question you're going to answer. No. Let's see. Raise your hand if. Oh, someday it will be my last Jordancon, but not today. Can't keep this up forever, people. All right, let's see. All right, raise your hand if you have attended more than 10 Jordancons. Woo! Wow. Okay. All right, let's do this. All right, raise your hand if you have only watched the show. Okay. All right, welcome. We will try not to be gatekeeping jerks to you this weekend. All right, let's see. Raise your hand if you started reading The Wheel of Time in the last 5 years. Okay. All right. How about in the last 10 years? Okay. How many of you started reading it in middle school?
How many of you was it not out for in middle school?
All right, raise your hand if this is the first fan convention you've ever been to. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's try to get some polling going, okay? All right, raise your hand if you think Rand is the main character.
I mean, come on.
All right, raise your hand if you think Egwene is the main character.
If you know Egwene is
Raise
the
your
main
hand
character.
if you think Egwene thinks she's the main character. All right, I think we're ready. Thank you for your patience.
Series on Amazon Prime. I know it seems like we say this every year at this point, but we are so sad that we can't be at Jordancon with you. The wheel leaves, the world intervenes, and we're actually still shooting season 2 of Wheeloftime here in Morocco. I'm on set right now, and there's actually a pretty iconic fight scene from the books being rehearsed. I don't think Amazon is going to let us find that film out and show it. But we'll see it on your TV screens sometime soon. Because we can't be there, we've tried to gather some of the creative team, actors, crew to answer some of your burning questions, give you some information about what we're doing with season 2, answer some of the things that you are wondering about from season 1, and we've actually gotten permission to give you an exclusive first piece of news, which is casting. Probably my favorite character in the books, Alienda. But the role of Alienda will be played on Wheeloftime by the amazing actress Ayula Singh. She is a part of the fight team that's happening right now. So it feels very fitting to be announcing her in this place where we're seeing her months of hard work learning how to use spears, how to do flips, how to pull up a veil and convey a death glare with her eyes, all come into play. And this woman is going to make you very, very excited to see more of the world of the Aiel. So, Aiel, welcome to Wheeloftime. Everyone, start Googling her now. Thank you guys so much for all of the support that you've given, not only to us, but to this incredible book series, which is the reason that we're all here and working in Morocco. The premiere was incredible. The response to season 1 and the number of viewers that tuned in blew away any expectations that anyone had. And that all comes down to you guys. And thank you from all of us. We will now throw it to our amazing cast and crew and me to answer some of your questions.
My favorite location so far has been Italy. We shot some stuff for season 2, I think in last September. We went to an area close to Bari, which is in the southern tip, down by the heel of the boot. I'd never been there, and I had no idea what to expect. So it was pretty special. The landscape, being so close to the Mediterranean, our hotel was right on the cliffs of the ocean. I know, you guys hate me, right? It was beautiful. And the stuff that we shot for Land Marine was really powerful and exciting for us as actors to get into that storyline. So it was a really beautiful experience. And I was able to stay for about a week and a half afterwards before we went back to Prague and have a little mini vacation, which was great. So that was by far my favorite location.
I would be land. The similarity is quiet, reserved stoicism that Aaron also has, but there's a fierceness, a warrior-like quality to him that I think is just really badass. And I think the way Daniel plays him is just so cool.
Did they make him sleep on the floor?
I think the lovely thing about having been given the great opportunity to bring Leandro to life is that the writers have created a really sort of layered interpretation of her. I think she's very different from how people might have seen her in the books, and certainly as an actor you're always looking for as many dimensions to play, and you're certainly looking for the scratch and the friction in a character. And I think, like so many of the characters in the book and a lot of the themes in the books, it's not always exactly as you might imagine it to be. There's always something very hidden and deeper to the characters than might seem originally, what you might think of them originally. So I've really enjoyed the playfulness of Leandrin, but there's a deeper and a darker side to Leandrin, but also
You think?
he had immersed himself in the second season, which has been a real gift. So she's very, like a lot of the characters, mercurial. She's very different when she's with different people, and that's always fun to play as an actor, because you're always just looking for the widest sort of lens to look at a character through. So I'm always really excited when I get a new script, and there's definitely some surprises in store in season 2. And anyway, I just love playing her, because there's always so many different choices you can make and things you can play with.
My favourite aspect of my act probably is gullibleness. It's just I find him now very innocent, and I think that's why he's one of the favourites in the series. One of the favourites, character favourites in the series. It's just, he's very innocent.
We have multiples for stunts and horse riding, and specific stunts that maybe have little tricky needs for more room in the thigh, or more room to straddle the horse on the saddle and such, or maybe for rigging underneath. So yes, the answer is we do have practical versions of the same thing, but they're not designed differently. They're just adjusted for the specific stunt. And no, we don't do different versions for close-ups. The hero pieces, which is what we call the piece that's for camera, is done 100% always to the same level, so that we can make sure that if the camera comes in for a close-up or pulls away, that the costume's always ready.
That's smart.
I mean, we predominantly in the show have been trying to take things that were suggested or hinted at being LGBTQIA plus relationships in the books, and sort of expanding on them, bringing those out, letting us know more about those characters and their feelings for each other, or taking things that we don't know what the relationship is between those two people and giving them something. And I think that's what we'll continue to do with the show the whole way through the series, is you will see us lean into those places that are already so present in the books, and then try to find room to tell more of the emotional history of some of those characters, and a lot of times that will include their relationships with people, be they of the same gender, a different one, or ungendered.
So there is going to be that. That's cool.
There's just a lot of micro things that happen throughout the season that are kind of stories, kind of little anecdotes, but like, I think the funniest things are just the relationships. Like, Zoe and Maddie are literally sisters. It's the funniest thing. It's really beautiful to watch. I mean, they've really bonded, as we all have. But those two, and I always get stuck sort of in the tent next to them. We have tents, right? When we have downtime on set, we have our tent. We go back to, there's food in there. There's a heater, so we can go to get warmed up. It's it's pretty chilly sometimes when we shoot. And those two are they're always in the tent together, one of their tents. And they're always talking. And they've made up their own language. Like when you like middle school, and you make up a language with your friends. And they do that. They have this language. I got stuck in a truck with them in Slovenia. A month of production. We're in Slovenia, and I had to go from the airport to our hotel with them, which was like 3 hours. I felt like the dad. I needed to get out of the car. So much energy. I wouldn't stop talking about. Anyway, just land
Dad.
the two girls in the car the whole way. I'm definitely doing most of it eventually, so stay tuned.
Dad been dragger.
It's a great scene in the hall. Was an amazing scene to play. It was the first time we'd all convened in the White Tower, and it was a brilliant scene to play. It was so epic, and the huge sort of scale of it, which I think comes across beautifully in the photography in that scene. And of course, it's just women, which is just fantastic to have that opportunity to play with different, just actresses really. I mean, I love playing with actors as well, but it's unusual to have so many female voices in one room, and extremely powerful voices in one room at the same time. And it was just glorious to see all the different representations of the different Asha, and also working with Sophie and Rosamund and Priyanka and all those brilliant actresses, all under one, and Jen under one roof, enormous roof as it was just thrilling. I remember getting home that day and emailing Sally, our director, and saying, "Oh my gosh, I just so enjoyed that today." It felt like being in a stage production, a sort of collective group of actors together is always where you make your best work. So it was really thrilling to be able to share that all and create that all together.
How many books can fit in his pockets?
The process in creating Loyal's costume was very much a collaborative process. The showrunner, Rafe, director Sally, and all the heads of departments in costume, hair and makeup, prosthetics. It was all about making it as practical as possible and also as comfortable as possible for me, but also like trying to stay as truthful to the books as possible, but also creating a brand new character for the new viewers and for new people coming into the series. And he can fit 25 books in fledged, novels.
How many Wheel of Time books can he fit in his pocket?
Well, that's impossible. It's the Wheel of Time. There were a million fabulous costumes that I enjoyed designing. And I loved it because this is what I do. Specifically, Maureen, of course, and the 5 heroes, they took a lot of thought and trial and error to get to that place for them for this particular first season, which we're really excited about. Working with the leather workers, Rob Goodwin, and the Bolero, her armor for Maureen was a real challenge and really satisfying at the end of the day, because it really changed who she was. It changed who Rosamund Pike was, which is what's important. I love doing the armies. I love Bardalla's army with like 26 pieces in that skirt. We printed fabric, we made armor. I love Algamar and Annalise's armor. That was also a couple of my favorite pieces. Siwan in the hall. So there are many pieces. Why? Because it was a great project to work on.
How many takes did it take to shoot? Oh, we should talk about how many days it took to shoot, which was 4. A fight scene like this is a massive undertaking, and we're lucky enough on this show that we can have time to put into some of those fight scenes and really, devote a big chunk of the production to making them happen. And everyone's involved in that. Rehearsals for the fights started months beforehand. We found Magdalena, almost a year before we even started choreographing that scene, and worked it towards her because we thought she was so incredible. And so the stunt team, led by Jan Katrina, built the fight. Kieran, the director, and I gave notes on it. We continued to work the fight. Then when they actually went to set and got the bolt camera and the moving arm into it, they had to adjust some of the moves of the fight to be able to almost be a dance not only with the men that she was fighting, but also the camera itself, and make it feel and look seamless. You know, I think that thing looks like a lot went into it, and even more went into it than shows on screen.
I mean, come on, guys, it's a sword. Yeah, I mean, I hope that one day I will get one. I've been on a journey with that thing for 3 years now, and there's many iterations of the sword. There's the actual battle sword, there's a stunt sword, there's a horse riding sword, there's a plastic sword for practice, and you know, sheaths and scabbards to complement those swords, because you know, we need to have it work for various situations. So the sword is very special to me, and I do feel like land is complete when I finally get the sword and scabbard on my back, and everything is clicking. So that for me is the prop that I would love to have.
There were so many factors that needed to go into that robe. First of all, she needed to stand above and beyond everybody. She's also, Siwon, from Ter. And Ter culturally had a bit of a Cambodian background, Southeast Asia feel to it. As you all know, Robert Jordan was in the Vietnam War, and this is where a lot of his inspiration came from. We'd also given a motif of the paisley motif to Ter, which is basically a paisley can be a dragon's tooth, one way or the other. Putting all these together, combined with a really fantastic trip to India, to New Delhi that I made, to look for fabrics. We found the beautiful gold fabrics that we made the costume with. So I had drawn it up before, but really got the textures together with these fabrics from India. And the reason it needed to be gold was because we had the 7 colors of the Aes Sedai. And it really needed to be gold, not yellow. It couldn't be reddish, and we didn't have any other colors. And of course, what is the most precious of all metals is gold. So that was the inspiration for Siwon. A little bit of the Southeast Asian sleeves of the Philippines, mixed with Cambodian pieces, and the paisley motif, and her golden gown in her dragon tooth sleeve motif.
That's cool. I'm curious about the stole itself.
Yeah, I mean, always on the show, we're trying to do as many practical effects as we can. That's what we like to do. We like to do a combination of practical and CGI as well, so that you hopefully are never looking at the show and going, oh, that's a cool CGI effect, or a not cool CGI effect, that you are really immersed in the world and falling into it. Obviously, COVID created a situation where we had to rely on CGI a lot more than we would have otherwise. And in season 2, we are doing more blending of the two, and so you know, hopefully that'll play successfully.
My favorite artwork is always changing, so that's a tough question. My mom paints. I started painting when I was younger, and I still do when I have time, just oil on canvas. I enjoy that medium. Yeah, so I mean, I recently was in Prague at the Dali and the Warhol and Mucha exhibit, and there's this exhibit in Old Town Square, and there's a Czech artist. His name is, I think it's pronounced Alphonse Mucha, and I'm really, really intrigued by his work. There's one called Muse. It's really beautiful. And it's really cool. It's kind of, it's like, it's what was, he used like 1850 to 1945, that range. It was kind of during the war, World War I and II was beginning, and his art was really prominent, and there's a pop art feel to it, with also sort of this like propaganda satire as well, and the colors he uses are really, really incredible. I'm doing a terrible job of describing it. You'd have to look him up, but I've been really into Mucha, and I bought a couple books with his work in it. So that's kind of what I'm into right now.
Our approach to polyamorous relationships is the same as our approach to any other relationships on the show. We're trying to take what's there in the books, try to give you more insight into the emotional interior of all those characters and understand what they feel and why they do the things that they do. And so, you know, you see a lot more actually in season 2 of one of those relationships, the Alana, Maxim, and Ivan relationship. We get to delve into more of that and understand a little bit more how those 3 parts fit together and how there's not just one relationship happening there, there's 3 relationships.
I remember a moment when COVID was first happening, and they were kind of trying to protect the set, you know. They had, the trash cans had signs on the top that said, no hands, feet only. And I was kind of having my lunch, and I saw Rosamund, she finished her lunch, and she walked up to a trash can. And I just noticed her like staring at the sign. She's like, how am I supposed to open this lid with my feet? Because it's like, you know, it's a 4.5 foot trash can. And I'm just looking at her, and God, I love her so much. And I knew there was a pedal. But they put the sign on top, so no hands, feet only, meaning usually what the best pedal is.
You gotta kick the lid off.
And watching her try to lift the lid with her foot was a very special moment. Wonderful moment. And one more that I'll say was, in wonderful Rosamund's defense, was when she won her Gold Globe. She couldn't go to the ceremony because of COVID. I can't quite remember now. But whatever, they sent the award to Prague, to our studios, and Rafe told me that the award was coming, and so I said, well, let me get it first, and we'll try to do something with it. And what we did was, during one of the scenes we were shooting, the first take, I'd hidden the award in my backpack, or Land's pack, and as she was speaking, I turned to her in the middle of the scene, and I just said, we want to thank you so much for who you are, what you do, and how amazing, what an amazing leader you are for us. And I got down on one knee and I pulled out her award, and she broke down. And it was just a really, I mean, it wasn't a funny moment, but it was a really special moment. I hope one day, somehow behind the scenes, that comes out.
For these moments that happened on set, I remember in season 1 where Gwen and Perry meet the Twatan traveling people. And the scene that has been on the road for ages, so they're starving, they're hungry, and they offer up their food to them. And it's the first time really I've had to eat as if I've been like absolutely starving, ravenous. But usually what happens in those moments is the food in itself that you're eating isn't amazing. So you kind of do a thing of scoffing the food down without actually swallowing it. And then I think at the end of one take, I just looked at Maddie, and she held all these lentils in her mouth. She started laughing, and then lentils just came out. We just realised we haven't actually eaten it the whole time. Which is a top acting skill you might see.
It may be obvious to many people that I'm not a natural horsewoman, and I think one of the first times I'd been on a horse on camera was we were taking Lagaine back to the White Tower. I was at the front of this large caravan of supporting artists, and many horses and carriages and all sorts of things. And I was right at the front, and they shouted action, and the horse, they're so sensitive, the horses, they're brilliant. Got very sensitive to the first assistant director shouting action, that my horse decided to go very quickly off. So it didn't quite bolt, but sort of ran off into the front, and very unlikely Andrew and I shouted, "Help me, help me!" in the forest. And I was really embarrassed. And then another funny moment always makes me laugh when we're all in the White Tower and we're all like swanning about in our costumes, and it reminds me of what it might be like if an alternative streaming version of The Wheel of Time would be called Aes Sedai High. In the White Tower. Aes Sedai High. Sort of like swishing about, being powerful. and certainly I'm being a bit of a school bully.
I don't know about a funny moment in set, but I do remember Maddie and Zoe always trying to. Maddie and Zoe had this game with Marcus where they tried to tackle him to the ground. Marcus is 6'5", pretty big dude, and Zoe and Maddie are lovely women, but they're predominantly smaller. And they had this thing where they try, like in between takes, they try and like tackle Marcus to the ground, and they can never do it. I find that very funny. It's just like Marcus would be standing by himself somewhere, and all of a sudden you just see these two girls just like run at him. That's funny, I think.
That's a good question. Yeah.
It's been amazing the amount of positive feedback we've received on a lot of the changes, and I think that one of the main ones is just how we structured the season and built the Aes Sedai and Tarvalon into it. It was really important to me from the very beginning that we had to, keep this show on the air so that we could make it to the end of the story. And I think to do that, you have to show off the best parts of the Wheel of Time series right there in the first season. And so getting Rosamund into it, getting Moiraine into it, getting the Aes Sedai into it, that was essential to the success of the show and why it's been such a big hit. So I think that's been really, really huge to us. And I think one of the maybe emotional changes that we made that has received a ton of positive response has been the Swan-Moraine relationship, and seeing that brought more to the forefront. It does the same thing we're always trying to do, which is just deepen those characters, understand them,